So I'm going to be putting in a custom airbox on the Weber carb, and the airbox is going to grab air from down in this part of the car. And the problem I have is this radiator coolant reservoir is going to be in the way. So first thing I need to do is make room for that airbox. So what I'm going to do is move this thing to the opposite side over there, mount it over there so that I can go ahead and funnel the air into the carb. So to do that, first we're going to remove this from the bracket. I'm just going to set that aside. And you can see the bracket is here. It's held on by 2 bolts. Oops. It's held on by 2 bolts. I've taken one of the bolts out because I'm getting ready to start this. So I'm going to remove this, and it's going to mount over here, probably in this hole right here. I'm only going to be able to line up one of the holes, but that's fine. The bracket really doesn't need 2 bolts to hold it in place and secure. Now this particular, this side plate here doesn't have a nut welded to the back of it, so I'm going to have to use a nut and probably a lock washer to keep it from walking out to keep that bracket in place. And to do that, I'm going to have to remove that. So first I'm going to remove the bracket, then I'm going to remove that, and we're going to get to work. Alright, I've already broken this loose. The first time you break this loose, if this bracket's never been off, it's probably going to be pretty hard to break off, but a little bit of torque, you'll get it off. There tends to be a lot of corrosion that builds up right here where these mounting surfaces are, so that makes it a little bit harder to get off. And of course these bolts have a little bit of corrosion on them as well. So once you break it off, we're going to go ahead, we got it broken off now, so we're going to go ahead and move it over to the other side. So I've test fit this thing, and it looks to me like the best place to mount it is going to be right here. And that puts the coolant reservoir right out of way. So we're going to do that now. Again, there's no nut there, so I'm going to have to remove this thing. Now I've already undone the 6 bolts that holds this on, so we're going to lift that off. Put it down. And so I'm just going to put a nut back here, right there, and bolt this bracket on. Okay, so we're going to use a lock washer and this flange nut along with this bolt, and I'm going to mount this right here. So get that right there and here, and back here I'll just put the lock washer on and then start to thread the nut on. Alright, that threads on nicely. Now, I'm going to go ahead and bolt that on and crank that on there. Try to get it started. Now it's snug down a little bit. I can shift it so it's up and down. And turn it on. Alright, that's nice and tight. And that is not going anywhere. So the next step is to get this guy over there. So what I'm going to do, I've loosened this clamp. I'm going to remove this, take this tubing out, and shift it around that side. So I'll go ahead and do that. I'm going to do this off camera because it's too hard to do with one here. Okay, we're back, and now I've got my reservoir. I'm going to go ahead and slot that in. Goes in nicely. Turn that around. And then I'm going to bring this hose around this way and just put it on. And I'll get a pair of pliers in a minute and I'll go ahead and put that back on. I'm probably going to want to play around with the routing of this hose a little bit since it's kind of awkward. But I'll do that in just a few minutes. Next, I'm going to put this plate back on, this plate right here. Come around here, and so this is obviously not awesome. We're gonna have to move this, so we're gonna pull it around, and I think what I'll do is I have an unused clip like this that I can use for here. So I'm gonna go get that clip and undo this and bolt it in and try to keep that managed down here. I think this will work without interfering with the hood. Okay, let's go and undo this. Let's see if I can get that in there. Down like that. I think that will work. Check the hood clearance. So let's check the hood clearance. Oh, perfect. Perfect. Okay, so check the hood clearance and it was perfect. No problems whatsoever. This is routed out of the way. And go back over here. I now have room to run a duct down here, and we can utilize this open space here by the headlight and get some fresh air coming up. So this will be something like, the Airbox is going to be something like for Hondas, it's like a Mugen cold air intake where they grab air from a little snorkel that comes down from a box. So there'll be a snorkel that comes up, some sort of box that connects to a tube that connects to the Airbox over here. So that will be next.